Blackpool come out of nowhere to bust into the top 6 out in League One, but can they hold on to the end of the season? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another Purchase Show. Today we take a look at Matchday number 38 out of course, in League One. And we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe to keep bang up to date with all things League One related, Blackpool Rovers related, well, football related, of course. We're going to know here, boys. Under Warruski, that's right, of course, Blackpool coming out of nowhere. Critchley's boys. Could they be the surprise package, get themselves right back into the thick of things, of course, in that playoff race? Could they be the ones? We'll have a little look in a second. Of course, a big shout out to the VIP band of brothers. We're talking about the Patreons, that's right. Thank you for your continued support behind the scenes. We've got a lot of stuff going on the next couple of weeks over the international break, so don't go anywhere. We've got, of course, League One to keep up with, of course, League Two, and, of course, some other bits and pieces. So make sure you smash and subscribe. Check out the links down below. So, yeah, let's get into it. Of course, take a look at those games that did take place this past week and a bit. Yeah, it's just so tight. I would not want to be in this race at all. Your big boys are going to have to be starting. They'll be watching. We've got 50p, 20p, whatever. Itchy bum time, squeaky bum time. Because you just don't know who's going to get through here at the end of the day. Let's get into it, of course. Here we go. These were the games that did take place on the weekend, which means we've got to go back to the 20th of March. Accrington Stanley, they did beat Wigan, who were on a bit of a reboot themselves. A 3-1 win for Accrington. Cameron Burgess, Michael Nottingham, of course, Dean Charles, Northern Ireland International, now on the score sheet for of course, Accrington. Cam Lang getting a goal for Wigan early doors, but unfortunately not good enough for them. 1-1 for me, not too good enough either. Meanwhile, I think I did terrible. Wimbledon against Charlton ended up 2-2. Jaden Stockley and Delang John Zemi on the score sheet for Charlton. Of course, Ryan Longman with a brace, giving Wimbledon a couple of goals on that one. 2-1. 2-2 in the end. Final score 2-1 for me. Got it wrong again. Burton, of course, had a bad week. They actually had a really bad week. Back-to-back defeats, I think. 2-1 loss to Milton MK Dons. Scott Fraser, William O'Hara getting Lucas Atkinson's cushy, of course, for Burton, giving them a late goal. But again, nothing for that. 2-0 for me for Burton. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Fleetwood Town, they lost as well. 2-0 to Swindon. Had a good week. 2-0 in for Swindon. Scott Twine with a couple of goals there, giving Swindon some hope. The bottom of the end of the table, 1-0 win for me from Fleetwood. Again, got that all wrong. Gillingham and Doncaster end up 2-2 in the end. Jordan Graham, Vadine Oliver on the score sheet with Tom Anderson, James Coppinger as well on the score sheet. Of course, Doncaster, as the points were split right down the bloody middle. 2-2 final score, 2-0 for me, not good enough. Meanwhile, Northampton, they slipped up to Crewe, 1-0 win in the end for Crewe. Get in your veins, of course. Owen Dale on the score sheet, of course, Crewe giving them the win. Actually with a draw in this one, so not too good enough. Oxford also had a nightmare week, losing to Blackpool, of course. Kenneth Dougal and Danny Bollard on the score sheet, of course, Blackpool giving them the win. 2-0 on the day. Actually with the 2-0 win going in favour of Oxford, but I got it wrong. Meanwhile, of course, Plymouth, 2-0 winners over Bristol Rovers. Of course, Barton's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment for Bristol Rovers. Actually went with, of course, Barton's boys. But maybe I have been giving him too much slack. I thought he was underrated, but I think he's having his struggles here at Bristol Rovers, of course. 2-0 final score. Now, Ennis with a couple of goals there for Plymouth, 2-0 in the end. Portsmouth against Ipswich Town ended up as a 2-1 win for Pompey to get themselves bounced back a bit. Of course, Cowley now in charge, I think. I don't know if it was, I didn't see it get 100% confirmed, but he's in. James Norton on the score sheet, of course, Ipswich, that's Cookie's boys. Tom Naylor and Marcus Harness on the score sheet as well for Pompey. Actually, with the 2-1 win going the other way. Got it all wrong. Got it all wrong this week. Of course, everyone got this one wrong. Rochdale 3, Peterborough 3. They like to score goals, do Rochdale, but of course, they're not getting many wins out of it. 3-3 in the end. Goal scorers for Sergei Dembele, Sammy Simitic as well, and Joyson Clark Harris as well. On the score sheet for, of course, Peterborough. Of course, Stephen Humphrey, Jake Beasley, and of course, Jimmy Cahone on the score sheet for, of course, Rochdale. 3-3 in the end. Meanwhile, Shrewsbury, excuse me, against Hull, 1-1 in the end. Matt Ingram with a big fat OG. Greg Doherty on the goal scoring sheet for Hull, giving them a share of the spoils. Of course, Sunderland, and they also was a draw 1-1 in the end. A couple of, it gives the chasing pack some hope here in the end. I'm trying to find the goal scorers. There they are. 1-1 1-1 in the end. Callum McFadden on the score sheet, of course. Callum Morton on the score sheet, of course, for Lincoln. That was, of course, the Saturday's matches, of course, into the midweek. We went, of course, Blackpool again, back-to-back wins for them. 3-1 win as well. Jerry Yates with a couple of goals there. Luke Garbutt as well. Joe Ward getting a goal for Peterborough as they had a bit of a nightmare on, of course, this week. Just 1 point of a possible 4-6 even. Of course, Bristol Rovers again. Another defeat to Swindon this time. Jack Payne, ex-Rover on the score sheet there. Jack Payne giving them the win. 1-0 win in the end. Of course, Northampton Town. They did beat Oxford again. Good week for them. Sam Hoskins as well. 1-0. Bloody hell, what a division this is. Of course, Burton Albion. They lost to Shrewsbury. Of course, the Chappers was on the score sheet. Of course, Curtis Main as well. Sean Clare getting a goal for Burton, as of course. As you can see, just got the one. Absolutely nightmare, of course. But this is the table as it stands. Let's digest this for just a moment. Rochdale, Wimbledon, Wigan, and Bristol Rovers going down as it stands. Big wins for Northampton and Swindon, and of course, a bit of a nightmare for Burton. Of course, moving the chains as Shrewsbury, moving a little bit closer to potentially making a climb for those higher echelons. Big week, of course, for Blackpool into the top 6. Doncaster in there. Believe it or not, I don't think they deserve to be in there right now. I'm looking at it. I think Sunderland have got a realistic good chance to go up as top honours here. Of course, you've got to keep an eye on Hull. So yeah, I think Sunderland, and they need to do it. I think they need to go up automatically. I think if they get stuck in the playoffs, it could be another dismal season for them next. Well, yeah, back end of this year, of course. Pompey, a new manager as well. That could also give them a new manager bounce. Again, games in hand as well on the likes of course, Charlton and of course Hull. Win both of those games in hand, and guess what? You could be up into those playoffs, deep into consideration as well. Who else? Ipswich Town have got a couple of games in hand as well. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and again, you can't rule out anybody. You really can't. It's going to be an interesting back end to this. Of course, Easter break coming up, or Easter period where, of course, games come thick and fast. So we can see. Hopefully, it'll take a bit of shape. Let's get into it. Of course, take a look at your picks. Here we go. Of course, SCC Jenko did shite. Of course, Mascaville though did good. As did Shepard also did a bit of shite. Of course, Jimmy Gold also did poop. Russell Foster had a good one. Of course, not too shabby. Of course, James BCFC, great. You did poo like me. John Foster also did Goss. AJ24, not too bad. I think Buster did bits. Had a shocker as well, as did Vincent Hong. Yoki Jackson also did very well for himself. Well done. Of course, Aina Ran also did crap. Of course, Little Terrell also did poop. Ashton Nice also did shocker, as did Fuddy 777. Of course, Chris Hayne also did ghastly. Least Wayne 21 also did poop. Janik Cypher did shocker. Of course, Forever Football BFFC, not too bad though. Oliver Army, not too bad. In fact, she did terrible. Game Child did bits. Of course, Olaji Ojo had a nightmare, of course. And okay, didn't do okay. How about the leaderboard? Well, if your name is Ashton Knights, Chris Hayne, just don't even look at it. If you're there like with me and Olaji Ojo, we were on the 1. But Forever Football PUFC and AJ24 absolutely smashed it with a 6 out of, 14, 16, something, I don't even know. It was a whole bunch of games. It was 12, 14, 16, I think, yeah. So it's okay on the grand scheme of things, but realistically, not brilliant as well. But of course, what's that done to the overall leader? Of course, Frosty was your outright leader. Jakobsen was also in the mix. I think it is still tight between these two guys. STC Janko, how did you get on yours? So you dropped a point back on the boys. So yeah, I think it realistically, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I think it's a 3-horse race for this League One as we enter the final couple of months for the season. So unless, don't worry, of course, Russell Frost might decide to go, you know what, I'm gonna take the next couple of weeks off, and of course he just might do that, but of course he won't. He wants this. Of course, let's get into the next round of matches. It is a shrunken down fixture list. I think we've got 9 on the agenda here instead of 12. So let's take a look at it. Of course, kicking it all off with Oxford United up against Lincoln City. Players of the last 6, of course, 3 wins apiece and no draws between the two sides. Of course, last time around at the Kazam was a 1-0 win for Oxford back in, of course, December, Boxing Day, in fact, 2019. Shannon Baptiste on the score sheet for, of course, Oxford. They also played each other this season in Lincoln. It was a 2-0 win for Lincoln back in, of course, September. Oxford failed to score in 5 of the last 7 matches in League One, whereas Lincoln undefeated in 11 of the last 12 matches on the road. They come into this just 1 win the past 6 games for Lincoln. That was against Crewe, 3-0 wins. As for Oxford, just 1 win and 4. That 1 was against Doncaster. The other 3 were defeats. So not good form for either of these two sides. Of course, bookies odds. I'll get to them in just a second. Where we go? Here we go. Of course, Oxford 27-20 for the victory. 9-4 is your draw. 2-1 is your Lincoln Bloody City. Of course, the table looks like this. Of course, Oxford in 11th. A win for them. They can move up to 6. As for Lincoln, they're in 4th. But a win for them. They can move into 3rd. Going to go with a 2-1 for Oxford United on this one. Lincoln City with another blip on their resume. Next up, of course, we have Wimbledon. Taking to, of course, Northampton Town. Played to the last 6. 1 win for Wimbledon, 2 for Northampton, 3 draws. Last time around in Wimbledon was a 3-1 win for Northampton back in February 2018 in League One, of course. Matt Grimes, ex-Rover. Matt Grimes? When did we have him? Matt Grimes? No way. No bloody way. I'm Googling it. It must be Matt Grimes. It must be him. It must be the old Matt Grimes. He is. He's at bloody Swansea. That's at bloody Swansea. What? When did he go to? When he was at Rovers a long time ago, and then he went to Northampton. Strange how all that panned out. Of course, he's now captain of course, Swansea. Yeah, they were in the Premier League, I guess. Wow. What a turnaround for Matt Grimes. Anyway, regardless of all that, I've lost my spot, of course. Yeah, heading into this Wimbledon, drawing 5 of the last 6 matches in League One. Northampton failing to win their last 12 matches on the road. Coming into this, just one defeat the past 6 games for Wimbledon. That was against Burton. However, the rest have been draws. That's 5 draws of the past 6 games. Just one win, though, of the past 4 games for Northampton. That was against Oxford, and it was just the other day. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. We have Wimbledon 31-20 for the Richie, 11-5 is your draw, down to 5 is your away win. That's Northampton. Northampton are in 20th. However, them they can move up to 19th. Wimbledon are 23rd. However, them they can move up to 20th. They can go above Northampton in the process. Going to go with a 0-0 on this one, which doesn't really benefit anybody. This coming match. Next, of course, we have the high-flying surprise packages. That is Blackpool. The Tangerines could be, of course, bouncing back to the Championship for the first time in a long time. Players of the last 6, 3 for Blackpool, 1 for Plymouth, 2 draws, of course, last time around at Bloomfield Rovers, of course, back in March 2019. Freddie Ladapo, of course, Ryan Edwards, of course, on score sheet back in, of course, March. Mark Bola, of course, Curtis Tilt on score sheet, of course, Blackpool back in the day. They also played this season down Plymouth way. It was, of course, back in September as a 1-0 win. Luke Jepcott on the score sheet for Plymouth. Blackpool undefeated in the last 12 home matches. Also, Plymouth losing the last 4 on the road. Of course, Blackpool, winning 3 of the past 5. Of course, the other 2 were draws. Meanwhile, just 1 win and 6 for Plymouth. That was against Bristol Rovers just the other day. Look at the bookies. Odds. Blackpool coming at you 5-4 on for the Rectory 2-5 is your draw. 7-2 is your Plymouth. Plymouth are in, of course, 16th, but for them they can move up to 13th. Blackpool in 6th, and for them they can move up to 5th. Oh yes, I'm believing. I would love to see Blackpool back, at least the Championship, of course. And I'd love to see have that rivalry fired up again. The Blackpool against the Blackburns. Anyway, let's get into it. Of course, Bristol Rovers taking, of course, Sunderland. Yes, that's right. Of course, Barton doesn't like Sunderland that much. But anyway, played of the last 6 months for Bristol Rovers. Of course, 4 for Sunderland, 1 draw last round in Bristol. It was back in March 2020. It was a 2-0 win for Bristol. Johnson Clark Harris with a brace, giving Bristol Rovers the win. Of course, they also played this season down at the Stadium of Light back in September. It was a 1-1 draw. Maguire on the score sheet for Sunderland. Luke Leahy on the score sheet, of course, for Bristol Rovers. George Dobson got himself sent off. Bristol Rovers, though, failed to score in their 5 of the last 7 matches in League One, where Sunderland undefeated in 16 of the last 17 matches on the road. Coming into this year, 5 wins in the past 6 games for Sunderland. Their only hiccup was a draw against Lincoln City, which was just the other day. Bristol Rovers, 3 defeats on the spit for them, have them scrambling. No new manager bounce at the moment, really, for Bristol Rovers. Of course, 4-1 for them for the victory on this one. 20-13 on is your Sunderland. Stone Cold favourites. 14-5 is your draw. Of course, Bristol Rovers are on 21st, but a win for them, they can move up to 19th. Of course, Sunderland are 3rd. A win for them, they could go 2nd. And I think if they get into the top 2, I think that's where they're going to stay. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Sunderland on this one, with the 3 points in the bag. And, of course, moving the chains. Next, of course, with Hull taking, of course, Gillingham. Places just the one time in recent years. That was, of course, back this season. Back in, of course, Priest-Fields was 2-0 win for Hull. Back in the day. Of course, goal scorers on the day. Keynes, Lewis Porter. And, of course, Josh McGuinness on the score sheet for Hull back in September. Hull keep a clean sheet in 6 of the last 8 home matches. Also winning the last 3 are at home as well. They're coming to this 5 wins in the past 6 games. They're only here. Hiccup was a draw against Shrewsbury just the other day. As for Gillingham, just 1 defeat the past 6 as well, losing to Fleetwood on the road. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. What do we have on this? We have Hull 11-8 on for the victory, 30-5 is your draw, 54 is your Gillingham. Gillingham coming into this, of course, in 9th, and for them, they could go into 5th. As for Hull, they are top, and they'll be top if they get a draw or more. I think they'll get a win on this one, 2 to win. Gillingham will have, of course, hit the skids on this one, but of course, not out of it just yet. Next, of course, MK Doncaster, of course, Doncaster Rovers played to the last 6, 1 for MK, 3 for Doncaster, of course, 2 draws, of course. Last round at the Stadium, MK was a 1 win for Doncaster back, of course, March 2020. Jacob Ramsey on the score sheet last season, of course. Also played at the Keep Moat this year, back in September. It was a 1-1 draw. Madra Gomez and Belly Gargel on the score sheet, of course, for MK. Of course, MK Dons winning their last 3 matches. Also, they come into this, winning 3 of the past 6. The last 3 wins on the spin. As for Doncaster, without a win in 4, picking up 2 defeats and 2 draws to boot. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. We have 21-20 for MK Dons, 12-5 is your draw, 5-2 is your Doncaster. Doncaster are in, of course, 5th, and with them they could close it in on 4th. MK Dons are 13th, and a win for them, they could move up to 9th. And guess what? They go into the hunt for, of course, playoff hunt as well. Let's get into it. I've gone with a 2-1 win for MK Dons on this one. Move the chains. Next, of course, are Peterborough, who have stumbled a little bit, taking, of course, Accrington, Stanley, who have kind of bounced back a little bit. Heading into this, of course, players of the last 6, 4 for Peterborough, 2 for Accrington, and no draws last time around. In Posh, it was a 4-0 win for Posh back in, of course, to October 2019. Marcus Madsen, Ivan Toney, Frankie Kent, Siddique Dembele on the score sheet, of course, Peterborough giving them a 4-0 win. Also, players of this season in Accrington, it was a 2-0 win for Accrington. Peterborough, though, undefeated in 21 of the last 23 home matches heading into this. They come into this, there's 1 win in the past 6 games. That win was against Portsmouth. Meanwhile, Accrington Stanley winning 2 of the past 5. The last win, of course, was against Wigan just the other day. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Peterborough 6-4 on for the victory, 3-1 is your draw, 50-4 is your Accrington. Accrington currently sit in 12th, but a win for them, they can move up to 6th. As Peterborough in 2nd, a win for them, they could go top of the bloody pops if they get a bit of a goal swing on this one. Going to go with a 2-0 win for Peterborough. I guess they do have a game in hand, so it's not all home and host for Hull just yet. 2-0 win for Peterborough, though. Move the chains. Next up, a difficult one is Shrewsbury up against Portsmouth. Played the last 6 2-wins apiece and 2 bloody draws last time around at the Meadow. Something. It was a 2-0 win for it was a 1-0 win for Shrewsbury back in, of course, August 2019. Ryan Gillis on the score sheet was Ross McCory getting a big fat red card. Also, this season at Fratton Park, it was a 0-0 draw back in September. Portsmouth, though, losing the last 3 away matches heading into this, but just 1 win in 5. Of course, that one was against Ipswich just the other day. Of course, Cowley's in, though. As for Shrewsbury, just 1 defeat past 6 for them. That was against Fleetwood all the way back at the start of March. Look at the bookies odds. We have Shrewsbury 13-5 for the victory, 9-4 is your draw, 11-10 is your Pompey. Pompey coming in to find themselves in 8th. A win for them, they can move up to 5th. Shrewsbury all the way down to 17th, but a win for them, they can move up to 16th in the end. And I'm going with a 1-0 win for Shrewsbury on this one to upset the apple cart and get themselves right back in the thick of things, of course, for their season. And next, of course, is the Paul Cook derby. It's Wigan up against Ipswich, bloody town. It's the first time since he's left. Cookie goes to the DW this weekend. Players of the last 6, these 2 sides, of course, nothing for Wigan, 4 for Ipswich, 2 draws. Last time around at the DW, it was a 2-0 win. It was a 1-1 draw back in, of course, February 2019. Of course, goal scores on the day. Willie Keane on the score sheet, of course, Ipswich. Joe Garner on the score sheet for Wigan. And also players of this season down at Portman Road, a 2-0 win for Ipswich. Ipswich, though, losing the last 3 away matches in League One. I've also conceded at least 2 goals in the last 3 on the road. They come to this just 1 win the past 5. That one was against Plymouth. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat the past 4 games. Wigan have them maybe believing that they could get out of this just yet. Look at the bookies odds. 5-2 for Wigan. 11-5 is your draw. 23-20 is your Ipswich. Ipswich can find themselves in 10th, but a win for them, they can move up to 5th. Wigan are down 22nd, but a win for them, they can move up to 19th. Going with a draw on this one, 1-1 in the end, and I think that'll probably benefit Wigan more than it does Ipswich. Of course, that's what I think will happen in this match day, of course, and if I'm right, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. It will be, of course, Hull City leading the charge, still 3 points clear over Peterborough, who have a game in hand. Sunderland keep up the heat as well as do Lincoln. Blackpool into the top 5, of course, and of course, Doncaster drop down to 6. Still, anyone's guess as to who will make the playoffs at the end of the season. As for the foot of the table, Rochdale, Wimbledon, Bristol, Rovers, and Wigan going down as it stands. Be sure to get your picks in nice and early, of course, and then we'll do it all again when we come back around. But until then, be sure to check out the video. Of course, we've got links in the old description, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. And again, if you want to support chat in another way, you could become the latest brother of another mother and become the latest member of the Patreon gang, of course. But yes, back soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully if you did, smash the thumbs up. I'll see you all next time. Smash the subscribe. Until then, I am out.